Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Voice of Life. I'm back at it one more time. I did a bunch of reactions today, but I wanted to give a personal story when it comes to lust, an anecdote, if you will, that I can look back on now and continue to remember. It's actually it's an interesting story. It might seem right away that it doesn't really deal with lust, but it can help with dealing with women. Which for men, being a man, that's where a lot of our lust comes from, is from the ladies, right? Even though women are not the problem, women are used by Satan. If there's any women listening, I'm not saying you're being used. It's just more so Satan uses our draw towards women against us. That's really what it is, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. And I know you got to be careful when you're talking to our counterparts. And this is actually going to go along with the story. Okay. So, pretty much the story is what I learned living with a cat. All right. What a cat taught me. All right. And ironically, a female cat, a lady cat, right? Um, and to better explain what I learned, of course, I got to tell you what happened. All right. So, what happened was some years ago, I was living with a roommate who had a female cat. All right. Now he also had a boy dog, right, a male dog. So I had almost two opposite extremes, and this cat was not super friendly, dog ultra friendly, right. So I'm having two opposite extremes here, all right. But and he had a big old like canine looking shepherd looking dog, and a small little fluffy little cat, right. So I mean they couldn't be two more opposites than those two right there. Anyways, but back to the cat. All right. So when I first moved in, I saw the cat, and me being natural animal lover, like loving the animals, loving the furry dogs and the little kitties and stuff like that, right? I'm over here trying to like get her attention, be like, hey, what's up, trying to say hi, like, hey, blah blah blah, and of course she's just looking at me like she's just staring at me, you know, just like nothing I'm doing, it ain't doing nothing for her. I don't care what I'm saying, it ain't doing nothing for her. You hear me? Nothing. Right? So much so, even if I try to just like step forward and be like, hey, I try to be kind. I'm usually good with animals too, but I'll go, hey, what's up? She gone. She, bro, I don't know you. Like she looking at me like, I don't know you. You just got here. I don't know you. What are you doing? What? No. All right. So I recognized from that point, I was like, okay, so that's not gonna work. But the next day I tried the same thing, just waving like, hey, blah blah blah, hey, maybe she come over. Nah. After like a few days of that, I realized, okay, I'm just gonna leave her alone because it's gonna keep killing me. Because I like being friendly, especially with the animals. So I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna let her have it. But whenever I see her though, it started to just be looks. Then I'll just keep moving. Um, so it got to the point where I'm just going about my day now. I'm not worried about it. I'm not thinking about it. Now, but see, notice though, when I stop thinking about it, this is where things start to shift, and this is where the dynamic of who's going to whose attention, who's going to who, it starts to shift right there. The moment I'm like, you know what, let me stop worrying about it. I'm just not even gonna. I'm gonna go mind my business. So now, day in day out, I'm doing the same thing. I'm keeping steady. Now it helps that I have a pretty calm and collected character. I'm not somebody who just spazzes out all of a sudden, like unless I'm with friends and like it's an act or something like that. But for the most part, my character is pretty solid. Like I can read a room, and I gathered okay she's. That's why I approached first kind of like this, and I recognized okay she's not coming over, so let me just keep doing my business. As long as she knows that hey I ain't no threat, and I'm gonna be here for a minute. So I'm going about my day. And so she's being where she is. She's seeing me, and there are times where like if I'm walking up the stairs that we're in, if she's at the top, she might look down. If she sees me before I get to the top, she's booking it, right? So that was always the funniest thing, man. Whenever I would come up the stairs, just hearing her feet just take off, I'd be like, "What is your problem, girl? What's your problem?" All right. Okay, so I'm going to my room now, especially over the weekends or like after my job or waiting to go to my job, I'll be in my room doing my thing. Now, what I started to notice was, especially if I'm leaving, I start to leave my room. I noticed she's kind of a little bit further down the hallway than I noticed, right? Like if I have my room here just across a little small walkway, like not even too far, is the master bedroom, right? So as I'm leaving the room, I notice she's a little bit out of the room and kind of heading to my direction. But when I'm walking out, she freezes, and then I'm like looking at her, and then we're looking at each other. I try to step towards her, she books it. She's out. I'm like, okay. I did notice you were a little bit closer though. I noticed. All right, a couple of days of that. Now I'm starting to see she's inching a little bit closer, just a little bit, and I'll be in my room, and I kind of turn in my chair and I look back, and she's there. And if I see her and she sees me see her, she's out. She's gone. Just a look. But she's close enough now to where she's looking into my room, looking at me, looking at her. All right. More days of that. Slowly but surely, she starts to get to my doorway. Now she's peeping out the scene. I'll look back at her, and she won't leave right away, but she'll kind of be like, right? She'll just kind of stay there, see what I'm going to do. And I go, hey, what's up? And I kind of move her away. She's out. But she doesn't go all the way back to the room. She just kind of moves a little bit. And I'll notice it, and I'll just kind of stay there. I'll be looking through my door, and she's kind of there looking at me. I'm like, okay, she's playing games now. So I just let her go. I'm like, all right, cool. She's good. So I started to see the pattern. I'm like, oh, okay, so she just wants to kind of see what's up. She got to make herself comfortable. So more days of that. Now she's coming into my room. Now she's kind of looking at my room. At this point, still not saying nothing to her. I'm like, I'm noticing I gotta let her just fully come to me, right? So I just do my thing. I might notice her. She might notice me notice her. But I almost act like it's just not a big deal. And that gives her space to kind of keep looking around. Eventually, she's jumping onto my bed, right? She's looking around. Next thing you know, she's right next to me. And I'll be like, hey, what's up? And even as she's got close to me, I'll try to pet her, but she'll kind of still do this whole thing. And even the first time she's like, nope, too much. I'd be like, all right, cool. But eventually got to the point where I was able to actually pet her. And then where she fully got to the point where she's like, okay, I trust you. It wasn't just her peeking into my room. It wasn't just her jumping on my bed. It wasn't me being able to pat her. I'm trying not to say bad words. She gonna jump onto my lap. And I was like, so she just sits on my lap, and I'm like, excuse me. See, now I'm like, private space, right? But of course, it's cool. I just let her, and then I just give her a little pat, and now she's chilling. I'm like, cool. And then if I try to move a little bit, I notice her fangs will kind of give up. I'm like, okay, what you doing? So I'm like, okay, well, now you're on my lap, and I got to be careful with you now. See how that works? Now I just kind of got I do got to kind of move to do stuff. Or if I try to get her to leave, she'll do this thing where she'll jump into my lap, and if I try to just kind of shove her a little because I got to go, she'll dig her claws into my lap. And the amount of times she's done that, then I'd be like, I have to hold it in. I'm like, this ain't my cat. All right, but it is kind of funny though. Eventually we got to the space where she's on my lap. We understood each other. I'm moving past her. She's cool. She got to the point where she realized, okay, I can trust him. He ain't crazy. His routine. He's stable. He's stable in his movements. So even through her early emotions and stuff like that, being like, oh, what's going on? What is he doing and stuff like that, she realized, okay, he's actually pretty cool. He's stable, right? And then we were good at that. It was history, but I'm hoping that through the story y'all starting to understand, especially men, because I'm talking to the men here. I'm gonna make videos for women later, but I'm talking to the men right now. Y'all notice how she started acting the moment I made it seem like it wasn't a big deal that I needed her attention. That's a lot of us struggle with when it comes to lust. Yes, it's what we physically experience is the skin, the women, the attraction, how they're looked at, but that's not the deeper root. The deeper root is our pride. The deeper root issue is our need for that attention, that affection, right? We all want that. Men and women, we all want that affection to be fed, right? And men, we seek that out through the flesh more so, and then more so through women, right? The devil knows that. He's crafty with it, right? But it truly is the moment you stop paying attention to the thing, right? Especially when it comes to women. And here's another thing. I as an elementary school teacher, I had to sit down one of my fifth grade classes because the boys and girls, they were just fighting, going at it, man. Like in this class, they're full of energy, but man, they were going at it. One day I had to sit them down. And I had to say this, because I split them up. I split all the friends up. I put them in seats. Honestly, all the people that are fighting each other, I sat them next to each other. It's like, y'all gonna have to get used to this. Y'all gonna have to learn. I don't mind making it uncomfortable because it's through uncomfortability that we go through the most growth. But I had to sit them down, and I talked to both sides. I talked to the men and the women, or the boys and girls, really. But I was talking to the boys. I said this: look here, guys. Here's some words of wisdom. And I'm saying this in front of the boys and the girls. Here's some words of wisdom, guys. Women would actually enjoy you better the less you bother them. Believe it or not. And the boys are like, whatever. And the girls are kind of sitting there like, I don't know. They weren't saying nothing, right? They're like, Because I think even the girls, I mean, they're in fifth grade. Even they're still trying to learn themselves, right? I mean, the next 10 years, they're going to be trying to just figure themselves out. But as I'm saying that, I know something was clicking. I was like, boys, girls will deal with you much better. They would treat you much nicer if you leave them alone. Leave them alone. It's not that you can't be nice to each other, but hang out with your boys. And of course, you can have a few boys that are naturally good with women. Like me, I was always naturally like very friendly with women. I never bothered them, right? But I also grew up around a lot of women growing up, right? So when it came to the girls, I was always good with like just being friendly. Like I don't need nothing from you. I never had that issue when it came to women. I was never one of those guys like we either like we either doing something or we ain't even talking. Like I'm not one of those guys, man. Never been that. So these sort of fights with women, stuff like that, I've never dealt with that. But I know where it comes from. I know where it comes from because still being a man, I have my issue with women. We are different. We are more factual and hardcore, and women are obviously more emotional and intuitive, right? And of course, it's a blending of the two. But generally, we rest on these two sides of the thing, and that's important. God designed us that way so we can help each other where we are weak at. We use our strengths to help the weaknesses, right? And nothing gets become and as you're growing into that, especially getting into fifth grade and middle school, those differences really start to show themselves. So I had to tell the boys, look, y'all are better. You have a better time with women. You have better relationship, and I'm saying girls, with the girls, if you leave them alone. Because a lot of times they don't want to be bothered. Women don't like to be bothered. And just to know that I was telling the truth, I was like, girls, am I right? Am I wrong? They were like, he was like, girls were like, yeah. I was like, girls don't like to be bothered. I was like, right, ladies? Or I didn't say ladies. I'm pretty sure I said girls. I was like, right, girls? No, I think I said ladies. I mean, they're young. I'm gonna speak to. I'm like, right, guys? Right, fellas? Right, ladies? Right? I'm gonna talk to them like they're adults. Like, get them to the mindset like, y'all gonna become adults. I'm not gonna keep talking to y'all like y'all children. I mean, you guys are children, but not like I'm not trying to belittle y'all. I'm not trying to keep y'all little. Right? I'm the guy. I'm the type of guy. Hey, look, I'm gonna talk to you like an adult. I mean, I might as well get you prepared now. I'm not gonna wait till you're adult to then speak to you as an adult, right? I know, of course, they're obviously in fifth grade, but these kids be maturing nowadays. They mature in ways that they don't need to be mature, right? But I'm saying, am I correct? Like, women don't like to be bothered. Girls don't like to be bothered. The girls are like, right, that clock, yeah, all the stuff they be doing nowadays, right? But it's true. And man, we know that's true. We know that's true today. Women don't like to be bothered. And men, we don't need to be bothering women. Right? It's nice. It's okay to be nice to them. See, I was nice to that cat, and to the point that she became comfortable. If I was mean or I was always antagonizing her, you think she'd ever come into my room? Even though she didn't know me, what she saw was, okay, he was always being nice to me. He was always being kind to me. And at the end of the day, he was going about his business. Right? The lack of attention is what draws her attention. Now, I wasn't going out of my way or purposely trying to manipulate her coming towards me. I got to the point where I was like, I really don't care. If she comes to my room, cool. If not, or if she gets comfortable with me or not, I got ahead of my business. It was starting to get like, I was getting to the point where I was like, I was getting irritated. And that's how I know that I was doing too much. I don't need to get irritated by that. Men, you don't need to get irritated by women just because they might not be coming to you as fast as you want them to. It's probably because you're too worried about it. And women are intuitive like that. They notice, okay, he's thirsty. He's thirsty after me. And that triggers something in her intuition. That's not a man that they want to deal with. Because women, at the end of the day, they don't want to be the source of your attention. Not the source of your attention. But you see how quickly women are willing to give that attention to a man who is not treating her as if she is that thing. The whole is women the prize, men the prize. Look, y'all, God is the prize. All right, Jesus is the prize at the end of the day, right? When we turn about, is it man or women who is the prize and all that? Jesus is the prize. All right, everybody go to Jesus, right? But we were designed in a specific way to how we'd be attractive to each other, right? Men are the most attractive to women when men are not attracted to them. I'm gonna say that one more time. Men are the most attractive to women when men are not attracted to the woman. What I mean is, it's not that as a man, we're not going to find certain women attractive, of course. But when we are showing her that, man, you so attractive, and I'm trying to get you, I'm trying to attract your attention, that's what's going to get her to be like, oh, back up. But the moment you appeal to her that, hey, whether you give me attention or not, I have a higher calling, that is attractive to her. Women are very good. Here's the thing, y'all. Fellas, I'm going to give it to you like this. If a woman wants to be around you, just like that cat, when she wanted to be around me, it got to a point where I couldn't get her away from me. And before that, when she wanted to be around me, she let me know. Why? She came into my space. Invaded my space, honestly. But just like the cat, and just like most women, if a woman wants to be in space as men, we're not just going to push her away. Now, if she's in our way, that's one thing. It's like, hey, excuse me, I got to handle some business. But as men, we know if a woman wants to be in our space, we're not going to be rude about it. Especially if, like, we are a good man and we're a solid guy, we're not going to be rude about it. Now, whether we want to pursue anything more than that, we're not going to be rude about it. I've had women who put themselves in my space, and maybe I didn't want anything further past that, right? Past just, friendly, casual conversation or just a friendliness, right? I wasn't rude about it. I was like, girl, back up. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to kill her over that, right? If anything, I thought that was nice. But the point is, guys, like, you won't have to question. If you're trying to fight something or manipulate something or chase something, you didn't have it to begin with. And that's not a bad thing. But all that chasing, you're aiming it at the wrong thing. You should be aiming it at your purpose. That's what you should be chasing. That's what you should be fighting for. And thankfully, when it comes to purpose, it wants you to catch it. Let me give you that. Purpose wants you to catch it. Purpose wants you to chase it. It's waiting for you. But your purpose ain't just going to come to you, especially if you're idolatrizing women. Right? Women don't want to be idolatrized. I kid you not. Not a good woman. A woman who wants to be idolatrized, she ain't working with God. She working for somebody else. It ain't God. She ain't following Christ. Right? So yeah, that's the anecdote. I was experiencing that. I was like, man, I'm learning a lot from this cat. And again, not that I necessarily had the biggest issue with that, but being a man, yeah, of course. And I crave relationships, all these things. I want those things. But when I feel like when I'm in that space of craving the relationship, when I'm chasing it, that's when I fall into the most problem. That's when I have the most stress. Right? As I've been on this walk with Christ for the last 3 years now, I'm like going on year 3 and heading to year 3, and it's gonna be 3 years of my own dedicated relationship to God. Man, I've learned a lot. I would say before and after coming back to Christ, I mean, me personally, I've never really struggled with attention from women. I know there's guys out there who maybe can't say the same thing, but I'm not even gonna say I have all the attention. Either way, that's not important. That's not important. Whether you get a lot of attention or not for women, it's really not important. Because really, at the end of the day, especially if you are a follower of Christ, you're only looking for one wife, right? You're only going to entertain at the end of the day one wife. So if the one attention you get is from a woman who really is set before you and is in your space because you're in your purpose, a woman who makes herself available to you while you're chasing purpose, that's a better look for you as a man. That's a much better look for you, right? And then you'll start to see how little importance physical attraction is. I'm not saying it's not going to be important. Of course it is. I want to be attracted to my wife, but I also don't think God is going to lay down somebody in my space, not lay down, but have somebody in my space who I'm just absolutely not attracted to, and then God going to tell me like that's your wife, and I'm over here like, you know what I mean? So I definitely want to be attracted to I want to be attracted to my wife. I want to be attractive to my wife. And the best way I'm going to do that is to leave her alone. Right? Leave her alone. Just like cats, women are self-sufficient. All right? They don't need you to do nothing for her. All right? They don't need you to do anything for her other than be yourself. Because that's what attracted her to you in the first place. So I hope that helped a little bit. Ladies, don't think y'all safe, man. I'm coming for y'all later. All right? I have a whole thing towards y'all, but fellas, if we're called dogs, hey, women are cats. All right? Treat them as such. Let them come into your space. Let them feel comfortable to come to you. And I promise you, it's going to be a less stressful time. Now, ladies, if I'm wrong, y'all let me know. But I don't think so. Anyways, let me know what y'all think. Thank y'all for being here. Catch y'all on the next one.